Here's why it matters to show up in court as a law student. Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandaranaike. The judicial process and a client's day in court is a cornerstone of any democracy. It means that a person who has been wronged or alleged to have been wronged has an opportunity to get justice and redress. You, as a solicitor or a barrister, is on the one hand a champion of that justice, having been able to represent that client, and on the other hand, a performer of sorts, an athlete in terms of the law, who is not just championing your client's cause, but the overall profession and society as a whole. If you like the type of content that I make on this YouTube channel, do subscribe to the Law Simplified and leave a comment below of what other types of content that you would find helpful. If you are a first, second or third year law student, I would highly recommend enrolling in the comprehensive online law school platform, complete with theory, tutorial and workshop lessons based on the actual one-on-ones that I've conducted with first-class law students globally. Why does it matter for you as a law student to show up in court? To be fair, there are three fundamental stakeholders in terms of your legal career. The first and foremost is yourself. The second is the fraternity or the profession itself. And third, the society at large. So let's have a look at why it's important from the perspective of you as a potential solicitor or a barrister, from the perspective of the profession, as well as from the perspective of society as a whole. So, why do court visits matter to you? First and foremost, you're the one that's entering into the fraternity. You're expecting not just a lucrative career, but one which is fulfilling and one which you can establish yourself apart from the rest. To do so, you need to be able to understand what happens in court. The more frequent your visits are to a court of law, you're able to learn a set of skills that you otherwise would not be able to adduce or to inculcate just from perusing through textbooks or sitting in on lectures in your institution or university. There is a different sense, so to speak, that you have when you're sitting in a courthouse, when you're listening to an advocate, a barrister or a solicitor present the case on behalf of a client. There are a lot of nuances that you can incorporate into your own technique later on. I have often said on this very YouTube channel and the different platforms the Law Simplified is disseminated on that you need to address the academic and vocational components of the law much like a sport, that you're training to do something. Advocacy and trying to inculcate the necessary skills to not just be an average lawyer, a barrister or a solicitor, but one who is great, requires you to assess, study and analyze other great practitioners going through their own craft. So from your own perspective, why court visits matter is because you get to understand what skills are required to excel in the profession. Secondly, from the perspective of the profession itself, it benefits from having more quality solicitors and barristers coming into the profession overall. The profession is respected and sought after not by virtue of the number of solicitors or barristers that are there, but by the quality by which they are adjudged. So, by you spending time in court, understanding the nuances and the skills required to perform at a high level, you're not just enriching yourself, but you're enriching the profession as well, irrespective of the jurisdiction that you're intending to practice in. Remember, this is as much from a stakeholder's point of view about you as it is about the fraternity that you're entering into. And later on, there would be other students, just like yourself, who would sit in court in terms of proceedings and watch you perform your craft and learn from the techniques that you have learned from the past and developed over time as well. Finally, from the perspective of society. After all, these court visits, you becoming a barrister or a solicitor, the profession at large, all of this is to service the judicial process and democracy at large. Being a quality barrister or a solicitor and one that understands the nuances of the craft benefits the society in its entirety. That's on the one hand. But from a more subjective perspective and a more emotional perspective, spending time in court helps you understand certain things that the textbooks, your lectures, or even interacting in your close circle, you would not be able to, which is to realize or rather understand the realities of society at large. You're going to encounter people from all walks of life. Those who are competent in terms of their education, in terms of their understanding, those who are competent in terms of finances and access to justice. You're also going to see those who are not on both fronts. You're going to see practitioners who have been retained by virtue of the fact that the client himself or herself has the network or the connections and how they perform, versus clients who do not have such access and they have to rely on what is provided to them by a court of law or by legal aid. This vast dichotomy of clients, of the social stratas that they come from, will enable you to empathize and realize the value of what you're learning and the profession that you're getting yourself into. A simple visit to court is not just about understanding the law or the craft. It benefits a vast array of people, stakeholders that do have quote-unquote a stake in what you're going to achieve at the end. As much as it is helpful for you as well as the profession that you're entering into, the society benefits greatly as well. So the next time you are taken by your institution or the university to a court of law, don't consider it as a chore. Think of it as the first of many occasions that you are going to upskill yourself in terms of becoming a better solicitor and a barrister later on. That being said, until the next time that we speak, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.